comes down to this. In one seat, only the 10th player ever to win all 3 Triple Crown events. An attacking, long putting machine. The magician, the Prime Minister, the mercurial Shaun Murphy. In the other, a snooker genius, looking to equal Stephen Hendry's major trophy haul, to equal the UK Championship total of Steve Davis, and win 3 ranking titles before Christmas. Ronnie O'Sullivan. It's the 2017 UK Championship final, live and uninterrupted on Eurosport 1. Pedigree on the table, chums in the studio, and don't they just look the dogs dangly bits in their whistles? Jimmy White and Neil Foulds. And Neil, if these two bring their A game today, we'll have more big breaks than an episode of Casualty. Yeah, no, they're the outstanding players in the tournament, and with all the other top 16 players getting knocked out, we thought, who's going to win? Well, it turns out that it's a pretty, authentic final of champions. Which you said, Neil, at the very start in our very first programme of the UK's, you do not get surprise winners of this tournament. No, and if you go back through the history books, there aren't surprise winners, because it's a hard tournament to win. It's high prestige and longer frames, not as quite as it used to be, but as you see, these two guys have both won it before, and they're both former world champions. 40-odd years of this, Jimmy. There's never been so little top 16 seeded players in the last 16. It's been years since we've had an all-British quarter-finals, which we've had. But you know what? Snooker's a universal language. Have we learned anything this week? And this final's just exciting. Absolutely. It's the UK Championship. It's the second biggest tournament on our calendar. The 2 men in form, him winning the Champion of Champions, Ronnie winning the Daffer Bet in Barnsley, played top form. So, I expect a really exciting match, really close match, but I just favour Ronnie O'Sullivan to nick it. Well, there's one game in Ronnie's route to the final that really sticks out, it has to be said. But in terms of the entire journey, it began against Jackson Page, the newest Welsh kid to turn pro. He won 6-3. Michael Giorgio was next to fall. Ronnie front-running, as we see so many times in quick time, 6-1. He did exactly the same job in Michael White. Not vintage, but he's been winning frames in whatever way he's needed to this week. Then in the last 16, he survived by the skin of a blue ball against Thailand Sonny Akani, the game of the tournament for me. And then in both the quarters and the semis, we talk about being a front runner. He shot out to a 5-0 and a 4-0 lead. Martin Gould came back, was too late. And of course, for Stephen Maguire, it was too little, too late as well. Yeah, he seems to, when he went 4-0 up, and when the player come back at him, Gould come back at him from 5-0 up, he come back at him, he seems to be so relaxed, Ronnie. And against Stephen Maguire, to go that far in front as well. And then when Maguire hit back at him, as soon as he had a chance, Ronnie, he took it. So he's learning to win when he's not playing great. The match with Michael White, he missed loads of balls but still managed to win the match because Michael White was poor. Yeah, Ronnie said in his interview yesterday, I've been Mark Selby-like this week. For Shaun Murphy, I think it's been about moving through the gears. Although it was quite an easy start, 6-1 against Hamza Akbar. The last 64 was the scare, though, squeaking through in that decider against Liam Highfield. Before, I think, relaxing a little bit. A last 32 bye against Jimmy Robertson was comfortable. A last 16 romp, it has to be said, against Ricky Walden, 6-1. And then he moved up a gear again against Mark King, and another 6-1 to move to the semi-final. And a bit like Ronnie, Neil, front-running again. Getting ahead of Ryan Day, never looked like being caught. Absolutely, but his sticky game, just like the Sonny Akani match for Ronnie, was the Highfield game. He should certainly lost that. Liam Highfield had him beaten, and the minute he didn't beat him, you think, well, this guy's a champion. He could, he doesn't need a second invitation, and here he is in the final, and he went up in the gears, like you said. OK, well, listen, it's the best of 19 now. Don't forget, 9 frames this afternoon live in Eurosport, a maximum of 10 live in Eurosport this evening. Before any play, one last bit of chat.
Shaun's, very experienced. He seems, he's a kind of big occasion player. Seems to do well in, the major tournaments. So, he'll be looking to get his second UK, and I'll be looking to get my 6th. So it should be good fun.
Walking into the same players' lounge as Ronnie O'Sullivan is daunting. Being around him, reading about him, watching him, he's very intimidating. He's very, very good. It makes getting off to a good start absolutely vital, and depending on how long it takes me to settle tomorrow will have a direct impact on the score.
you just go out there, you know, you just respect the game, respect the player you're playing, you know, and just try and come off the table having done as much as you can do, you know, and then you can have no sort of regrets, really, you know. So that's basically just my aim every time I go to play, you know. And sometimes, you know, you catch fire, sometimes you don't, but unless you have the right sort of attitude towards the game, then, you know, you're never going to be successful. So it's just controlling the controllables sometimes.
Match like the final, you know, it is a completely different mindset. It's make sure you're in the match come the night session. Don't be too far behind. Don't be worried about being too far in front. Just go out and play your game and make sure that you don't throw the match away early. And especially against somebody like Ronnie, you know, that can go very, very quickly.
If I can get a victory, you know, I feel like, you know, it's one for the family, you know. So I you know, the support I've had over the years, I see them as family, you know, and they've carried me through good, bad, every sort of moment, and they seem to be there whether it's good or bad, you know, a bit like, you know, a football supporter following their team, they're loyal, you know, so, you know, I have so much to thank for them, and hopefully I can supply them with a bit of silverware tomorrow.
Neil, Jimmy, predictions?
I think Ronnie will win, but I think Ronnie's under pressure to win because he's lost in the final this last year and he lost to Shaun in the Champion of Champions. If he lost again, for him, that would be a big failure. But I think he needs to win comfortably. If it got close, I'd be a little worried. 10-5.
Jimmy, very quickly.
I'm going to say Sullivan 10-6, 10-7.